The air was thick with smoke and noise. Strange voices filled the large market hall. Alien creatures walked around, laughing, shouting, buying. This was not a normal market. It was a slave market, dark, cruel, and full of pain. A tall creature, with blue skin, stood on a platform. He was the auctioneer. His voice was loud and sharp. Behind him stood a girl in chains. Her skin was soft silver. Her eyes were full of fear. She was young, maybe 17. Her clothes were torn. Her body shook. She is strong, flexible, and untouched. The auctioneer shouted, "Trained for pleasure. Who will start the bid?" Many alien hands rose. Lizard-like creatures hissed. Fat ones laughed. Some showed their long teeth. They wanted her, not for work, not for kindness, but for their own evil fun. The girl looked down. She didn't cry. She had cried before, too many times. Now there were only tears inside her heart. She waited for someone to buy her. That's what always happened. But something was different today. In the back of the hall, a man stood still. A human. He wore black armor. His face was calm. His eyes were sharp, like a soldier. His name was Commander Rake. He was alone. Humans were rare. In this part of the galaxy, most aliens thought humans were weak, too soft, too emotional. But they also knew some humans were dangerous. The auctioneer saw him and smiled. "Ah, a human joins. Do you like this one, Earthman? She's very flexible." Commander Rake walked slowly through the crowd. Everyone moved aside. His boots made heavy sounds on the metal floor. He stopped near the stage. He looked at the girl. She looked up at him. For the first time, her eyes showed something else. Not hope, not trust, but confusion. Why was he looking at her like that? Then, he spoke. His voice was quiet, but strong. "No one touches her," he said, "unless she wants it." The market went silent. For a full 10 seconds, no one said a word. Then loud laughter exploded across the hall. "Did you hear him?" One alien laughed. "He thinks she gets to choose. She's a slave." Another shouted, "She belongs to the buyer." Commander Reich didn't laugh. He didn't move. His hand rested near his weapon. The auctioneer grinned. "Human, this is not your planet. Here, we do as we please. You want her, buy her." Commander Reich looked at the chains, looked at the bruises on the girl's arms. Then he looked at the auctioneer and said, "Let her go." Now, the auctioneer's smile disappeared. He gave a signal. 4 guards stepped forward, large aliens with blades and blasters. "Kill him," the auctioneer said. The first guard moved fast, but the human moved faster. In 1 second, the blaster was out. 2 shots. Clean, precise. 1 guard fell, then another. The rest of the market screamed. Buyers ran. Guards pulled out weapons. Commander Rake stood like a shadow of death. "Calm, focused," I said. He repeated, "No one touches her." The girl's mouth opened slightly. She couldn't believe it. No one had ever protected her. Not in years. Not since she was taken. She watched him. Not just the way he fought, but the way he looked at her. Not like a thing, but like a person. The auctioneer screamed, "You're dead, human. This is syndicate land. You don't make rules here." Commander Reich pointed his weapon at the auctioneer. "Then kill me, or run." The auctioneer stepped back, fear in his eyes. This wasn't a normal human. Slowly, the chains on the girl dropped to the floor. Reich walked to her. Gently, he took off his coat and placed it on her shoulders. She stared at him. "Why?" she whispered. He looked into her eyes. "Because someone should have said no." Outside, more guards were coming. Sirens began to ring. The whole market was in chaos. Reich looked around. He turned to the girl. "Can you walk?" She nodded. "Then come with me." They ran through the back, vanishing into the shadows. Behind them, the market burned. But for the first time in a long time, the girl didn't feel like property. She felt free. She didn't speak. Not when the chains fell. Not when he gave her his coat. Not even when the fire behind them lit the night sky, and they disappeared into the shadows of the city. The girl walked beside the human like a ghost, silent, barefoot, wrapped in a stranger's jacket that smelled like metal and dust. Her steps were light, almost like she was afraid the ground would break beneath her. Commander Reich didn't ask questions. He just walked ahead, leading her through dark alleys and rusted tunnels. Neon lights blinked above them. The city was alive with danger. Sirens echoed far away. Guards were searching. Everyone was looking for them. But the girl said nothing, because she hadn't spoken in 3 years. They stopped in an old storage room beneath a junkyard. The place was quiet, cold, and hidden from the city above. Rake checked the door, locked it, looked around. "You're safe here," he said softly. "No one will find you tonight." The girl didn't answer. She just stood there, near the wall, staring at him. Her silver skin looked pale under the dim light. Her eyes held many things: fear, confusion, and something else, something broken. Rake sat down on a crate. He took out 2 food packs from his bag, tossed one to her. She didn't move. "It's real food," he said, "not poison." She picked it up slowly, opened it, and took a small bite. Then another. Her hands were shaking. Rake didn't watch her eat. He looked down at the floor, thinking. After a while, he asked, "Do you have a name?" Silence. "Do you want to tell me?" Still silence. He nodded. "Okay, no pressure." He leaned back, closed his eyes. The room was quiet again. She watched him. This strange human. He didn't touch her, didn't ask for anything. He didn't even stare at her, the way others did. Why? She had been sold, beaten, used, and broken. That's what people wanted. That's what she was told she was made for. But this man, this human, had killed for her. And now, he gave her food. Gave her his coat. Gave her silence. She didn't know what to do with that. Time passed. Maybe hours. She sat down slowly, still watching him. Her lips moved, just a little. Then, softly, like a lost memory, she whispered, "Lena." Rake opened his eyes. "What?" he asked gently. She looked at him, voice barely louder than a breath. "My name is Lena." He smiled. "Just a little. Nice to meet you, Lena." Later that night, while she slept with her back against the wall, Rake sat near the door, holding his weapon. He didn't sleep. He didn't plan to. He had seen the look in the syndicate's eyes. They wouldn't forget him. Or her. They would come. But that didn't matter. He had made a choice. No one would touch her again. Not unless she wanted it. Kindness is not free. Not in this galaxy. And now, the price had been set. The bounty went out in less than an hour. Every screen in the underworld lit up holodats, data rings, darknet signals. Wanted, human male, alive or dead. Traveling with stolen property, codename Lena. Stolen property, that's what they called her. Put up in a broken rooftop shelter. Far from the glow of the market fires, Lena sat by a window, eating real food with her hands. For the first time in years, she wasn't in a cage. She wasn't chained. She was free. But freedom felt strange. The human Rake was cleaning his weapon nearby. Quiet, focused. He didn't ask her to smile. He didn't ask her to be grateful. He didn't ask her for anything at all. And maybe that's why she started talking. Just a little. "Why did you do it?" Lena asked. Rake didn't look up. "Do what?" "Back at the market. You didn't know me. You risked everything. Why?" He paused, checked the power cell in his rifle, then said, "Because no one else did." Lena looked at him for a long time. His face was calm, but his eyes were tired. Not weak, just old, in a way that had nothing to do with age. She could see it. He had seen war, pain, loss. And he still chose to help her. She had never met anyone like that. Later, they moved to a safer place, an old hangar in the lower city, owned by an alien named Core. Core was big, with iron arms and rust-colored skin. He had history with Rake, the kind that doesn't need words. "You brought trouble." Human Core growled. "I always do." Rake replied with a small smirk. Core looked at Lena. She looked back. Steady, he nodded. "She's different. They'll never stop hunting her." "I know," Rake said. Kor gave them a room. One night, maybe two. No promises. Outside, bounty hunters were already asking questions. A few had seen them in the junk markets. A child had sold information for half a credit. Everyone wanted a piece of the prize. That night, Lena sat alone in the hangar, staring at her hands. She used to hate her body. Trained, sold, broken. She still did, sometimes, but now she hated something else more. Fear. She was tired of being afraid. So she stood up, quietly walked to where Rake was checking equipment. "I want to learn," she said. He looked at her. "Learn what?" "To fight, to shoot, to survive." He studied her face. "Why now?" She took a breath. Her voice was calm. "Because I don't want to hide anymore." Rake didn't smile. He didn't make a speech. He just handed her a small training weapon. "Then we start now," he said. Somewhere above, in the neon skyline of the alien city, a ship landed. A new hunter stepped off. He was not here for the money. He was here for revenge, and he knew exactly where to look. There are two kinds of silence. The first is peace. The second is the sound before violence. Tonight, the silence felt heavy, like the city itself was holding its breath. Lena stood on the roof of the old hangar. The wind touched her face as she stared at the neon lights of the alien city. Ships moved through the sky like silver sharks. Down below, the streets were crawling with life. But she didn't feel alive. She felt watched. She felt hunted. Behind her, Commander Rake checked the perimeter again. He didn't relax. He never did. You feel it too, Lena said without turning. Rake nodded. They're close. Down in the alleys, 5 bounty hunters moved like shadows. One of them, the leader, wore a skull mask and carried twin plasma knives. His name was Kale. He wasn't here for money. He was here because Rake once left him bleeding on a battlefield. Tonight was payback. Inside the hangar, Lena's hands shook as she loaded her training weapon. Not because she was scared, not the same fear she used to feel, but because she finally cared about something. She didn't want to lose this. She didn't want to lose him. Rake handed her a blade. Stay behind me. Shoot if you must. Don't hesitate. Lena looked him in the eye. What if I'm not ready? He touched her shoulder. Quick, firm. No one ever is. The first explosion came fast. A small charge blew the side door. Metal flew. Sparks rained. Then the red lights began to flash. Rake didn't panic. He moved like a machine. Smooth. Controlled. Lena followed. Heart pounding. Breath tight. The hunters came in hot. Kale led them with deadly speed. One raised a blaster. Rake shot first. No mercy. The alien dropped. Lena hid behind crates. Aimed carefully. One step. Another. She fired and hit. The hunter screamed and fell. Lena froze. She had never shot anyone before. Rake looked at her. Good shot. She nodded, but her stomach twisted. It didn't feel good. It felt necessary. Kale reached the center of the hangar. Rake stood there waiting. Gun in one hand, blade in the other. Kale laughed under his skull mask, still protecting things that break. Human. She's not broken, Rake said. You are. Kale charged. The fight was brutal. Fists, knives, blood. Rake blocked, countered, bled, stood his ground. Lightly watched in horror as Kale's knife cut deep into Rake's side. He didn't fall, but he was slower now. Weaker. Kale grinned. It ends here. Lena stepped out from cover, gun in hand, hands shaking. But she didn't run. Not this time. Hey, she shouted. Kale turned. She fired, right into his mask. He stumbled back, roaring. Then Rake moved fast. Final, full of rage. His blade found Kale's heart. It was over. The silence returned. But this time, it was peace. Lena dropped her weapon, ran to Rake. He was bleeding, but alive. She pressed on the wound. Stay with me, Rake coughed. You shot him. She nodded, eyes wet. I didn't want to, but I had to. He smiled. You're learning. Somewhere, more enemies were already planning. The bounty was still active. But now, they weren't just running. They were fighting back. Together. Asterisk, the room smelled like metal, blood, and electricity. Lena sat on a cold floor, her hands tied behind her back. Her face was bruised. Her heart was not. Across from her, Commander Reich hung from chains, blood dripping from his side. His armor was cracked. His breath was slow, but steady. They had been captured, but they were not broken. Not yet. The alien leader walked into the room, tall, armored, with gold markings across his face. His name was Lord Varric, ruler of the Red Syndicate. He looked at Lena like she was a machine, not a person, not a girl, just a thing. Do you know what she is? Human, Varric said, circling Rake. Do you even understand what you've been protecting? Rake raised his head, eyes sharp. I don't care what she is, Varric chuckled. You will. He tapped a panel on the wall. A hologram appeared, showing files, codes, symbols, Lena's face, her DNA, her creation file. She's not born, Varric said. She's built, a prototype, created in a secret lab by your own kind. Human tech, human hands, made for pleasure, control, and obedience. He leaned closer to Reich. She's a weapon with soft skin. Lena felt something inside her crack. She had always known there was something different, but not this, not made, not fake. Her voice trembled. Is it true? Reich looked at her, calm, clear. Yes, he said, it's true. She swallowed, waited. But he didn't look away, didn't flinch. And then he said the words that broke her chains more than any key. You're not human. Because of how you were made. You're human because you choose who you are. Varric laughed. Spare me your Earth logic. He turned to Lena. You were made to obey. It's in your code. Say the command, and she kneel. Rake looked at Lena. Don't did and single quotes t. She stood, bleeding, shaking, terrified, but she stood. I am not your toy, she said. And for the first time, her voice didn't shake. Varric stepped back, furious. You don't understand. She's property. Rake smiled a cold, dangerous smile. No, he said. She's free. The guards moved in. Varric gave the order. Kill him. But Lena had already memorized Rake's training. She moved fast, steel pipe in hand. Weapon stolen from the guard. In seconds. 2 aliens hit the floor. Then Rake broke his chains. Blood and metal filled the room. They ran again, out through tunnels, fire behind them, pain in their bones. But something had changed. She wasn't running to escape anymore. She was running toward something. And Rake, he didn't see a machine when he looked at her. He saw a soul. In deep space, truth travels slower than light. But fear spreads like fire. Lena stared at her reflection in a cracked mirror. Not her face. Not her eyes. She stared at something deeper, something she couldn't touch. Was it real? Her skin looked human. Her heartbeat was real. Her voice was her own. But now she knew. She was made, not born. A project, a design, a tool. Behind her, Rake stood silent. He had found an abandoned medical station on the edge of the Junkring moons. It was cold, quiet, and full of old tech. He let her be alone, because some questions couldn't be answered by anyone else, only by the person asking them. She turned to him. Finally, do you think I'm real? She asked. Rake didn't blink. You think, you feel, you choose. He stepped closer. That's real. She nodded slowly, but her voice was still hollow. Then why does it still feel like I'm someone else's idea? Before he could answer, a sharp voice echoed through the station speakers. Commander Rake, this is Earth Authority. Lower your weapons. We're coming in. 3 ships landed outside. Not syndicate. Not bounty hunters. Humans. Rake narrowed his eyes. They came faster than I thought. Lena looked at him. You knew they'd come. He nodded. I had a feeling. A woman in a white suit walked into the station. Short hair, sharp eyes, and a badge that shimmered with the Earth symbol. Commander, she said coldly. Step away from the subject. Lena stepped back. Subject, not name, not person, just a thing. The woman pointed at Lena. She is not cleared for open society. She's part of Project Aurora. Experimental, dangerous. Rake moved in front of her. She's a person. She's a program in a body. She has more soul than any of your tech teams. The woman paused, then said, You've gone rogue, Commander. Rake didn't move. If saving her makes me rogue, then I'll wear the name. Suddenly, Lena spoke, not loud, but clear. Why did you make me? The woman looked at her. We didn't make you. We made a prototype. You're just the lucky result. Lena's hands shook. You used me. We created you. I created myself, Lena whispered. And then the lights flickered. Outside, the sky darkened. Syndicate ships were arriving. Again the humans turned to Rake. We'll take her now. We can protect her. He shook his head. You had your chance. Lena looked at both sides. Her makers. Her savior. And somewhere deep inside herself she was done being a project. She was ready to become a choice. The next move would be hers. Some wars are fought with weapons. Others, with decisions. And sometimes, the biggest battle is choosing who you want to be. Even if the whole galaxy says, you don't get to choose. The station shook. Red alarms blinked. Metal screamed as the walls trembled. The syndicate had arrived again. But this time, they weren't hunting for credits. They wanted revenge, and they wanted Lena. Outside. 2 forces stood ready. On one side, Earth Authority, cold, calculating, filled with scientists and soldiers. On the other, the Red Syndicate, cruel, violent, hungry to reclaim what they thought was theirs. And in the middle, Lena. Not property, not project, person. Commander Rake stood beside her, blood on his face, blaster in hand. His armor cracked, but his voice steady. Tell me what you want, he said softly. Lena looked out the window. Ships filled the sky. Danger filled the air. But inside her, something had changed. I want to stop running, she said. Rake nodded. Then we make a stand. They didn't run. They didn't hide. Instead, Lena stepped forward, past Earth officials, past syndicate generals, into the middle of the chaos. She raised her voice, and for the first time, the galaxy listened. "I am not your weapon," she shouted. "Not your tool, not your experiment. I choose who I am." Silence fell. Then, the first syndicate shot was fired. A battle exploded across the station. Earth troops returned fire. Syndicate soldiers stormed the halls. Lena and Reich fought back to back, not just to survive, but to matter. In the middle of the fight, Reich was hit, shoulder, then leg. He dropped to one knee, weapon clattering. Away. A syndicate captain raised his blade to finish it. But before he could strike, Lena stepped between them. No fear in her eyes. Only fire. "Touch him, and I end you." She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She commanded the syndicate captain. Hesitated. He saw something in her. Not code, not programming. Will. And he knew, in that second, she was no longer property. With the help of Core and a few rogue fighters, Lena and Reich turned the tide. Explosives ripped through syndicate ships. Earth forces pulled back, unsure of who the enemy was anymore. When the smoke cleared, the station was in ruins. But Lena was still standing. And so was Reich. Later, the Earth agent returned, covered in dust. "You could come with us," she said to Lena. "We'll study you. You'll be protected." Lena looked her in the eye. "No," she said. "You don't protect what you don't respect." The agent blinked, said nothing. Lena turned to Reich. "People out there are still in chains. Like I was." He nodded. "Then, we go find them." They walked away from the wreckage. Not as fugitives, but as a team, as equals, as a warning to anyone who still thought kindness was weakness. And freedom came without a cost. Because freedom does have a price. But some things are worth everything.